Okay, so last day of bowl prep. How would you describe how it's gone here at Clemson?
Really good. Just like it's been all year with the leadership of the guys and how they've really just showed up. I mean, they've been really focused. They've been energetic. They were excited about today. They're ready for a little break, and I'm happy for them to get a break. Today was a good practice as far as just really buttoning everything up. And the key for us is we can't start over on Monday when we come back. We've got to, these guys, listen, the greater the vision, the bigger the sacrifice. And so they've got to enjoy some time, but also find some time to stay focused on what we're trying to do, and continue to go through their notes and review some things, and make sure that they're ready to roll when we come back. And again, we can't start over. We got to pick up and go have another great game week of practice. So they're ready and feel good. I think they all feel good about it. So now it's just take us a little break and come back and get ready to go to Arizona.
Coach Vic Beasley named to the Pro Bowl. Clemson's always been a school that puts a lot of players in the NFL, but it seems like more than ever before they're making a real big impact in the NFL as well. Is that just another indicator that this program has reached kind of another stratosphere?
Well, yeah, I think that's definitely one of the indicators. I think when some people, that's all they want to use to measure. Some people it's winning, some people it's your NFL production and development. Some people it's academics. For us, we want to be the total package, and so it's definitely one of the things because we know that's important. And I think the thing that I'm most proud of is, it's easy to sit there and say, "Oh, Sammy Watkins is going to be a great pro," but when you look up and you see Adam Humphries on the Today Show, when you see Vic Beasley, who was a running back, tight end, who never played a snap of defensive line ever until his, fourth year here, he started his first game, and to see him making Pro Bowl, to see guys like Deshaun Williams, who's an undrafted, free agent. It's all across the board. Yeah, we've got those Stephon Anthony's of the world, and that I think pretty quickly you were able to say, this guy's going to be a good pro one day, and probably be drafted high. But it's really neat when you see a guy like T.J. Green, who we beat UAB to get, and he comes in here and plays receiver as a freshman, backup safety as a sophomore, starting safety as a junior as a second-round draft pick. To see a guy like Kevin Dodd, who really had, I don't think he had any prep school guy, to see him be a second-round draft pick.
Marcus Gilchrist.
I just think it's a totality of the development. It's not just, you want to go get good players. I mean, that's part of it, but it's the development of those players. And it's not just getting the Stephon Anthony's and the Sammy Watkins. It's all kind of guys. It's Grady Jarrett. I mean, I think we beat Buffalo to get Grady Jarrett. And it's the development, and I think that sends a great message to all these guys that come through here, that if they'll buy in, obviously you got to be good enough, but if they'll buy in and they'll have the work ethic and the commitment, then hey, they'll be prepared. And that's our main goal, is to make sure that these guys are prepared for whatever's next. If they got a chance to go to the NFL, if somebody thinks they're good enough, whether they're drafted or a free agent, for them to have the tools they need to have a chance to compete. If they're going out in the work world, them to have the tools that they need to go be successful. That's really ultimately what our objective is.
Speaking of that, and talk about players getting a chance early on, McCaffrey and those guys, what that's happened the last couple of days. Can you talk about that and your opinion of that? And if a guy came to you and wanted to do something like that, what would you say to him?
Well, I think, like I said the other day, I mean, to each his own. I mean, I don't. It's hard for me to judge others. I don't really know all the dynamics that have gone into those decisions. I mean, like I said, sometimes I was talking about Spiller the other day. Sometimes you don't know what a player has gone through to get well every week to play. So I can't really judge those guys. But all things being even, if a guy's healthy and all that, I think it would be very disappointing for guys to do that. I think that's, you play the season, and a big reason that these guys have opportunities to go on and be successful is their teammates. That they're all part of it. But again, I'd rather know now than have a guy show up and not play. On the flip side of it, if a guy ain't into it, if a guy ain't all in, I'd rather know today. So I can get, because you only need 11. And at the end of the day, I want the guys that are fully committed to the team and the university and all that stuff. But again, if a guy ain't committed to that, then hey, I think it's best for him to move on than to go through the motions and act like he is.
What impresses you the most about you and Robbie the most about the job Pollard has done this year?
Just, his consistency. The way he prepares. He hasn't flinched. He just stepped in and the moment wasn't too big for him. But I think that speaks to how he prepared all spring and all summer. His mindset. He's a very mature young guy. He's a very serious guy. He's very serious about being a good player. It's important to him, and it's obvious and it shows because you don't just show up over here and do what he's doing. You're having to put some extra time you're having to go above and beyond to prepare when you have that little experience. Same thing with Ankrum. Those two guys are great players. Ankrum, I think, can play 4 positions. I think Pollard can play 4 positions. I really do. And I think when it's all said and done, you'll see some cross-training with both of those guys. But really, really blessed to have Ankrum and Pollard. They're what you're looking for.
Any major differences? And I know the personnel's changed from the last time you played Ohio State, but as you start to get ready for them, anything really jump out at you?
Not really. They're still very committed to their identity offensively as far as what they do, and same thing defensively. Shiano's a new coach in there, but Luke's still there, and I think that obviously their personnel's a little bit different, but the offense still goes through the quarterback just like it did when we were getting ready to play Braxton. They're very committed to running the football and all the play actions, the same when we played them. And then defensively, they're very sound in what they do. I think they're faster than when we played them. I think they're just as good a secondary as we've seen. These guys can go. The backers are athletic, can run. They're young but very talented up front. So really not much different. This is a very, very good team, very good program. It's easy to see. I was looking in Tim's notes. I think Urban Meyer's lost 5 games ever at Ohio State. He's like 60-something and 5. And that's because they recruit a bunch of good players. They've got a good system in place and a good philosophy, and the guys buy into it. And they've got depth. So when guys leave, they've had a bunch of guys leave. They've had young guys step up. I know they've got some freshmen. They're not freshmen now. They've played 12 games or whatever. But it's not losing guys. It's who you're replacing them with, and they've done a great job with that.
Coach, as your redshirt guys, you've been doing JV practice now. Who stood out to you from those guys?
Good. A lot of them. We actually scrimmaged yesterday, and that was a blast. We had a lot of fun watching those guys compete. And the first guy that jumped out was little Hall Morton, a little walk-on safety. He made about 3 plays that really brought everybody to their feet out there. Had a little. It's fun to see the teammates get excited for guys. It really is. And, the varsity had some conditioning, and they all stayed around, and they all watched it, and they all got into it, and it was a blast. I thought Zarek made a great touchdown throw to DeAndre Overton. He had a nice play. there were some nice plays on defense. Shaq Smith had a great sideline-to-sideline play. All those guys. Nolan, Isaiah, Trapp. Some guys are playing a little bit now, but most of the guys are guys that aren't playing. Niles Pinckney continues to shine and stand out. It's a good Skowski. Good to see him get out there and get some scrimmage work as well. And then we had Gage snapping. I was very impressed watching him snap yesterday. He's worked guard and center. So got a lot of those guys. Getting those young tight ends like J.C. Chalk. A bunch of good work. Shadell. It's really good for him as he's transitioning into that tight end position. It's good to see him. T.J. Chase. Just all those guys. Little young running backs we got, and Darian Rencher, and we moved Ty Thomason back there to running back. He had a nice play. And little Ryan McClain. We got some of these walk-on guys. So there's a lot of guys names y'all might not recognize, but we have fun, with that. And again, we'll have another good day. Trayvon Mullen, he's out there competing. So the Tuesday practice in Arizona, we'll have another little scrimmage opportunity.
The players like to talk about they come to Clemson to play in games like these. As a coach, now that this is the pinnacle of the profession, I guess, can you take enjoyment out of this? Or
yeah, absolutely. That's one thing I promised myself was that, you know what, I'm gonna enjoy it. You know, it's hard to win, and all you can do is do your best and put everything you got into it, and we've done that, and no doubt about it, and we're going to continue to do that. But you know, not be defined by the scoreboard. That's kind of always been my thing. Be more defined by how we do things, and the type of effort and commitment that I see. That's my true measuring stick there. But I certainly, you know, and I want to make sure everybody else enjoys it too. And that's one of the ways we structure things around here. I don't want it to be guys just dread coming over here. I want them to be excited to come to work. You know, so it's we've got a good balance. But absolutely, man, it don't get any better than this. I mean, I'm excited we get to go back to Arizona, and we got a little more time. As I told you earlier, I don't really remember much about it. Was such a blur, 48 hours there. But I'm excited to be able to go back out there and see the town. We're going to get to go to a Suns game, and I think my kids are going to go over to the Grand Canyon. A lot of the staff kids and things like that. So it'll be neat to experience something different. It's fun to see these guys get to experience different things together as a team, and the relationships. That's what it's all about. That's why, you know, I love the bowl trips, always have, and that's what people don't see. You know, it's so much more than just the game. It's the time that these guys get to spend with each other. And a lot of these guys, this will be their last significant time with each other because they got to move on and they're going different ways. They'll be busy. They got lives, and we all know how that goes. But so it's a special thing to be a part of, and I definitely enjoy it.
Coach, with what happened with Deion down in Miami last year, do you use that as a reminder about making good decisions, or do they already know that without being told?
Oh no, no. You had kids yet? Yeah. Well, when you do, you'll tell them twice a day, every day. It's just one of those things you constantly remind young people. You know, young people have short memories, and so I that's a ongoing thing with us. We always are trying to remind our guys that they represent Clemson. You don't switch that off. Doesn't matter if you're a walk-on or the star player. You all represent Clemson. There's consequences for your decisions, and you know that never ends. But yeah, we are very vigilant in trying to put things out. Just like I just saw today, I guess the JMU kid had 7 guys suspended for the national championship game. You know, I don't know what happened, but it doesn't matter. You know, but that's another. You always try to teach them from other programs and other things that just come across, just as reminders that, hey, listen, you know, you're going to be held accountable, and understand the standard that we have here.
Is Artavis, is there any doubt in your mind that he's leaving, or is that sort of?
Oh, that's not really any doubt in my mind, but
Okay.
but you know, I mean, he has the right to change his mind. I'm gonna save a scholarship for him. You know, same with Deshaun too. But you know, I'm pretty confident that you know, he's ready, and if that's what he wants to do, he'll have my blessings. But if he wants to come back, he can do that too.
Knowing that you want to make this a multi-week experience like last year, and again, this is the bowl week, you'd normally be doing this. Have you been able to, as you had maybe said recently, adapt the mindset, since you already have been through the drill before, so that the guys can enjoy the bowl week, but you guys also kind of have a pacing mentally, if you know what I mean?
Yeah, well, that just comes with time, and that's where we are right now. I mean, we've got a bunch of guys that you know, to me, the best leadership is within, player-led, and you know, we've got, and these guys have been to the Orange Bowl, the Athletic Bowl, the Russell Athletic Bowl, the Fiesta Bowl, and the Orange Bowl. The Orange Bowl twice, is that right?
Twice.
You know, so I mean, these guys, they get it. And when you have a group of guys like that, so it's not just me having to kind of lead everything. They're in alignment. You know, years ago, we were trying to get to this point, and you have to just go through a process. It's just, you know, when you don't really have that established type of culture, you gotta build it, you gotta create it, and then you gotta maintain it. The players are the best source of helping do that. But so now we got a group that can draw on the experience, they can teach the other guys, and then the more opportunity that you get to be a part of games like this, that helps create the mindset that you want in your program. And so yeah, I mean they definitely. I mean, we still got young guys. We start over every year with some of these guys. We got to reinstill things every single day, but we're very fortunate to have a very experienced group of leaders that totally understand. Like Ben Boulware, I mean, when he says, "Hey, let's lock in," like they lock in. He knows, because and that's why we've been successful.